If you're looking for an Xpac mid-size sling, these are probably 3 of your best choices that are out there and the best value. All right, everybody, like I said before in the 2-bag travel video, it is time to finally retire my City Sling by Aer. It's still a great bag. It still looks great. It still works great. Now that I'm out and about with the kids and doing stuff, I think it's time to get a bigger bag. So I'm going to do a gear hunting video and share with you guys what I have. And for those that don't know and haven't seen one before, I'm going to take that home hunter style approach and kind of give you 3 options in this case, and kind of give the pros and cons in a few categories, and kind of share with you what I think wins in each category. So at the end of each round, you'll see which one wins, and at the end we'll show the overall winner, and I'll show you which one I picked, so stay tuned for that. So now for the 3 contenders. So gotta stick with Aer, gotta start with Aer first. So the Aer Day Sling 3. It's a nice bag, so we're gonna go look at that as well. We're gonna look at the Alpaka Go Sling Mini, and we're gonna look at the Tomtoc T21 sling bag. The reason why I picked these 3 is they're between 3.5 and 4.5 liters, and they're made of Xpac. So first up, we're just gonna talk about the material. Zippers and stuff like that we'll save for a different category. I just want to talk about the material right now. So while the different slings come in different fabrics, we're only focusing on the Xpac today. If you decide the Xpac isn't for you and want to save a few dollars, you can always take what I'm saying and go to the different materials if you want to. So the Aer Day Sling comes in with the VX21 Xpac fabric. It's a nice rugged fabric. It's lightweight, so it's a good balance between lightweight and durability. I've got a couple bags and a couple pouches made of VX21, and it's pretty good. There's no details on the interior, but it is a high vis option. I'm always partial to high vis on my bags. If you remember my EDC backpack, it's high vis. Any bag I think going forward is probably going to be high vis if I can help it, unless it's just that amazing without it. The Go Sling Mini is a VX21 Xpac. It's not as robust as the VX21, but it's still pretty durable. For day-to-day use for a sling, it's probably more than enough. But if you are concerned about some of that hard use, it is something to consider. You might want that durability. If I were using this on a motorcycle exclusively, I'd probably want to go a higher durability just to be safe in case something happens. The interior has a high-vis 210D ripstop fabric, and that's pretty durable for what I need for the inside of a bag. So that's a good mix between interior and exterior durability. So last up, we've got the Tomtoc VX21, and just like the Aer, it's got that VX42 Xpac fabric, which is again durable and nice and strong, but it still balances some of that lightweight. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the different Xpac fabrics. I think I've attached a video before. It wasn't my video, but I'll share it right here, a video that talks about Xpac and breaks it down pretty good. It cleared it up for me back when I was trying to figure it out, so I think it'll be a good benefit for you as well. So the first category up, materials, we've got our very first tie. It's going to be a tie between the Aer Day Sling 3 and the Tomtoc T21. While all seem durable, I have to give the nod to the more abrasion resistant VX42. While they'll all be functional, I do think that's the better bet to go through the more durable fabric. I'd rather have that durability just in case than not have it. The VX21 might save you a little bit on weight, but I think comparing the 3 on weight, it might be somewhat negligible. So next up, we're going to look at internal utility, or the storage and organization, how the bag's laid out. So starting with the Aer City Sling, it's got a center space for a switch and an iPad. Well, one thing you're going to find out is they all pretty much have that same idea. You can put a switch and an iPad mini in there, and that's going to be something that's consistent between all 3. Everything else is what's going to make the difference. So in the middle, you've got a zippered internal pocket, and you've got 2 mesh organization pockets as well. So that's nice organization in the middle. My only issue is the way the bag's laid out. The switch is going to be in the front, so depending on how you pack it, it might give it a risk for damage, but if you don't have a switch, that's not really an issue. It's got a quick access panel on the front, and it's got the keychain loop there too. They're pretty constant. One thing you're going to also see between the 3 bags is they've got a front quick access pocket, and what I know from experience with the City Sling, it worked out great. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. And it's also got a quick access pocket on the rear. You're going to put flat things, more important things, more valuable things that are close to your body. So next up, I'm going to talk about the Go Sling Mini. It's got the same kind of idea where you've got space for an iPad and a switch. The main section is going to hold the iPad, and then the Nintendo Switch looks like it's going to go into that second padded looking compartment. The center storage section is divided into 2 pockets, and it's got additional space on the inside, so you've got a little bit of storage right in the middle. And the front section also has 2 divided pockets as well, with a little bit of extra space. And the way the pocket is set out, it looks like it gives you some liter independency, so you won't be impacting the main section by putting stuff in there. There is also a detachable key ring and a nylon webbing for that. So looks nice and basic. Something you can detach back and forth. Not a deal breaker, but if it is for you, that's something good to consider. And last up, the Tomtoc T21. Just like the rest, it's still made to hold that iPad mini and the Switch. And it looks like in between the sections, there's a mesh pocket, so that's good. You can kind of see what's in there and kind of have access to the things. It has a quick access front pocket as well, but the key leash on it seems about the most basic, and the clasp is about as basic as well with the thin webbing. That's not a big make or break for me, but it's something to consider if it is for you, and that key ring is very important. That's something to definitely factor in. And just like the rest of them, they've got a hidden compartment in the back as well. So all 3 will keep your valuables nice and close to you and keep them safe. So now, as far as organization goes, the winner is going to go to the Aer Day Sling 3. It looks like the smartest use of organization. The zipper panel in the middle keeps things separate if you really want to do that. And that's a good thing if you got something that you don't want to touch the other stuff. Or if you got like a small water bottle in there, you don't want to run the risk of anything getting damaged that's flat in there. I do like the layout on that one the most. This one's subjective. If you like the layout on some of the other ones a little better, you can give the point to that one. But for me, for my point, it's going with the Aer Day Sling 3. So now let's talk about price. Price is going to be a quick one. Price is going to be a very easy one. I'm going to look at the price of it and how often I've seen it go on sale. So first up, the Aer Day Sling 3 is coming in at $105. And I don't see too many sales on Aer. Usually, I think I've seen them around holidays. So that's something to keep in mind. And I don't think you'll get a discount for signing up to their email list. So that's something to definitely factor in as well. The Go Sling Mini, it's a limited edition. So one thing you're gonna have to factor in is if it's in stock or not. It comes in at $85. One thing about Alpaka is they have sales all the time. 20%, 10% for joining their email list, 15% if you find it. So that's something that'll impact the cost one way or the other for you on that too. And the Tomtoc Explorer T21, it comes in the cheapest at $60, and it's always, I've seen it on sale on Amazon for 10 to 15% off. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. So with the 3 in mind, price is going to be an easy one. They all seem similar quality. So I'm going to have to give the nod to the Tomtoc Explorer T21. Once you factor in a sale, it's almost half the price of the Aer. So it's definitely got to get the point on that. One thing I will say on price, if you want to bring that price down a little bit on any one of them, definitely factor in some of the other materials. So now let's go to the size and the dimensions of the bag. The Aer Day Sling 3 is 11.5 by 6 by 3. It's 0.8 pounds and it comes in at 3 liters. Next up, the Go Sling Mini is 11.4 by 7.5 by 2.4. It's 0.73 pounds and it's 4 liters. So it weighs a little less, but it has a larger capacity than the Aer Sling. So that's something to factor in. And last up, the Tomtoc Explorer T21 is 12.2 by 5.9 by 2.95. I couldn't find a good number on the weight. So if you have an idea of the weight, let me know in the comments what the weight is or how it feels or how it carries even, because sometimes you can find a bag, if it carries right, the weight's not as big of a deal. Most of the info says 4 liters, but on one of the pictures right here, you see that it says 4.5 liters. So I don't know if it's because it's the Xpac or they reused the picture or what. So somewhere between 4 and 4.5 liters. So not really sure, but it's still right in that ballpark for size. So for the winner, I'm gonna have to go, because the Tomtoc doesn't give me any figures on weight, I'm gonna have to go with the Alpaka Go Sling Mini. I think maybe the VX21 gives it a little advantage on the weight, so that's one of the things that helps it out. I do like the taller kind of bread loaf shape, and I also like the fact that it comes in and it's kind of wide and it's kind of tall. One thing I will say that's kind of funny, looking at all 3 of them and then comparing the weight on my City Sling, even though these are bigger and hold 3 to 4 liters, it's still about the same weight. So not giving up and increasing my weight just for going with a bigger bag. So now next up, I'm going to call this category exterior utility. It's going to be how the zippers function and the external lashing points anything like that on the bag to kind of make the bag work a little better. So on the Aer Day Sling 3, you've got YKK AquaGuard zippers, you've got Duraflex hardware. One thing, it does have a Fidlock main buckle, but I'm not a big fan of that sliding clasp, and Boas Mono did a great video talking about why he doesn't like that kind of clasp. And I'm a motorcycle rider too, so I kind of agree with them on that. That gives you the most option for it coming loose. And even when I think Pack Hacker did a review on it, they talked about how a couple times it came loose. And it may not be a big deal for some, but depending on what you're doing day to day, that could be very crucial. And if you have something that you don't want it to fall on the ground, that's something to also take in consideration. So something a little more sturdy on the clasp is something to consider. It does have the elastic strap keepers just like my City Sling does, so that's fine in the beginning. Something to keep in mind as you keep the bag for a long time, because they are starting to wear out on mine, and it's something you might need to replace or figure out a new solution for. So it does have the Air zipper pulls. A lot of people don't like them. I'm actually a fan of them, and I have them on the travel pack and my sling, and I haven't needed to change them. They work just fine for me. They do what they're supposed to do, and I kind of think they class it up a little bit. There is a small loop on the shoulder strap, and there's a grab handle on the back. I think that's more for hanging and maneuvering with the bag, and not necessarily to clip something on with a carabiner or anything like that. So if you like clipping stuff on the outsides of your bags, that's something to factor in as well, that you don't really have that option on this particular bag. So now the Go Sling Mini, it's got the YKK AquaGuard zippers as well. It's got the Fidlock shoulder strap fastener too, and this is the style, if you're gonna go Fidlock, this is a lot more secure to me than the slide type in the airbag. So if you're gonna go Fidlock for that main clip, this is the way I'd recommend. One thing, as far as attachments go, if you look on the sides, there's tons of attachment for the hub system. You can put your hub accessories on there if you have them, or you can just clip a carabiner or something like that, and you've got options there to clip things too. There's also a hook on the bottom. It looks like it's a hook for a stabilizer strap from what they say, but if you want, you can hook something there too, it looks like. So you've got a couple options. It looks like, I'll say 3 options to clip things on the exterior of the bag. Nothing to really hold a water bottle externally. That would have been nice, but it's still okay nonetheless. This one doesn't have any additional zipper pulls. It's just the YKK zipper pull, so nothing to keep it from jingling. So it could be a little louder than the other bag, so that's something that you'll have to take care of. It's an easy fix, or if you don't mind the noise, you can just roll with it like it is. It also has elastic strap keepers as well. They're a little smaller than the Air ones, but that's still okay. So that's kind of the same thing. Keep an eye on the bags for if you're going to keep them long term. And now for the Tomtoc Explorer T21. It's got the YKK AquaGuard zippers, but unlike the other bags, it's only on the main compartment. That is something to keep in mind if you're worried about water getting in anything other than the main compartment. So while the other ones have YKK zippers throughout, this one only has the one, so that's something to factor in. All the zippers seem to be tucked in the fabric, so they do have zipper pulls on them, but they can get a little fiddly trying to maneuver in there, especially if you have gloves on or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. There's attachment loops on the side, so just like the Alpaka, you can hook your carabiners, and you've got options to clip things as well. It's got a Duraflex shoulder buckle. It doesn't have the Fidlock like the other two, but the Duraflex is just fine. It's going to be sturdy. Shouldn't have anything to worry about that as well. The issues with the slide Fidlock, you won't have to worry about that at all. So on this one, the straps are more of a closed loop, so they kind of maintain themselves within themselves, so you won't really have to worry about the strap keepers or anything like that. One thing to keep in mind from the larger folks out there is you might worry about in those, what I've seen is not a lot of strap to adjust. So if you let it all the way out, it might not be as comfortable. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, the winner is going to go from me to the Alpaka Sling. Xpac and Fidlock just seems to be the way to go for me. I like that combination, but I do like the Tomtoc and the fact that it has the Duraflex. That if you're not a fan of Fidlock, Duraflex is a good thing too. Plus, I already have some of the hub system, so I can integrate that as well, and that's an added bonus if I go with this route. One thing that did work against the Go Sling Mini was the fact that it didn't have zipper pulls built in. I thought about marking it down a little bit because of that. All right, so now, while all of the categories are subjective a little bit, this is going to be the aesthetics and style, and this is just how I see the bags and how I like the bags, and which bag looks the best to me and fits in, you know, what I wear and what I do day to day. So the Aer Day Sling, I've had Air before. I've had a couple Air bags. I like their minimal aesthetic. It kind of blends in with whatever you have on. if you want to use it in a work environment. Luckily, I don't have to be too dressed up when I go into the office. It still blends. If you're in a day with the kids and you got some shorts on, it's fine. So it gives a lot of versatility and a lot of functionality, and I've always liked that look. The Go Sling Mini, it looks like it's a little flatter, so it's a little streamlined and closer to the body. I do like that idea, and I do like that it's a little more compressed. So maneuvering in tight spaces will be a good thing with this bag. So something definitely to consider. So I will say, like with the Tomtoc, like the Alpaka, it's kind of like the ends of bread. That's what it's kind of shaped like to me. The Tomtoc is kind of shaped like that whole loaf of bread. So sometimes some people like that layout. That layout can be a little cumbersome to me. And when looking at the aesthetic of the bag, the fit and finish of the materials, it doesn't look as polished to me. But it is significantly cheaper and it looks like a good bag anyway. So that value per dollar is something to factor in as well. So for me, in the aesthetics and style, I've got a two-way tie in this one, and it's going to be a tie between, and I'm sure you guessed it, the Alpaka Go Sling Mini and the Aer Day Sling 3. So I was going to keep this as a bonus, but I think it's just important to factor in the warranty and the return policy for each of them too. So I'm going to go through each of those real quick. So Aer, it has a 14-day return and a lifetime warranty. The Alpaka Go Sling has a 45-day warranty in the US and a 30-day everywhere else. This doesn't include the Kickstarter or final sale items, but since this isn't a Kickstarter or a final sale item, it doesn't count in that category. And it has a lifetime warranty as well. So on to the Tomtoc. It has a 30-day return period. Then it has a 2-year warranty if you register the bag on their website. So I'm gonna have to say, with the longer return period and the lifetime warranty, the winner on this was gonna have to be the Go Sling Mini. So looking at how the points stack up, the Go Sling Mini came in first, followed by the Aer Day Sling, and then number 3 had to be the Tomtoc. I think just the functionality and the aesthetic and the streamlined capability of the Go Sling made it the good choice for me, and the price. If you didn't factor in price and everything was considered equal, or if they all cost within the same ballpark, the Aer probably would have crept up and won first place. I wanted to keep it under $100 at this time if I could help it. If the Aer just started to run away from the other two in features, I would have jumped up in price a little bit if I had to. But just looking at the features back and forth, I really think quality, feature set, layout, fit and finish material, the Alpaka and the Aer bag are pretty close, and there's a $20 difference with the opportunity of it going on sale on the Alpaka site. So those factors together kind of added it together. And like I said before, while the higher number in VX is good, not necessary, really not a deal breaker. I think I'll be just fine with the VX21. I don't plan to go off-roading or anything crazy with it, so I think it'll be okay. So here it is. I'm not going to show you the inside because I've been testing it already. I'm going to have a video coming up on that in a few weeks. And if you liked what you saw here, check out some of the other Gear Hunter videos. Also, you can take a look at the 2-bag travel video that I did to kind of look at what made me realize why I had to get rid of the Aer Sling. So with that, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. MF and Research, I'm out.